Hello, guys. Welcome to the Goal Line Gossip. We have our folks with us, iToonMag representing Newcastle and Hotspur Ribhu representing Tottenham. We are here to preview the weekly roundup of the Premier League fixtures. And this week, we've got a fantastic fixture in Newcastle versus Tottenham. In the context of the top four race, it's really anyone who can make it to the top four. We have a number of contenders, but you've got to say these two are the favorites to make it to the top four position. So we'll start out with Newcastle today. Uh, so iTunes Mag, can you do a small preview with mainly focus on your team?
Well, it's a very, very crucial match for both of us, and I believe Manchester United as well, because three teams racing for top four right now. I don't see any other teams going there. From team's perspective, we are pretty fine. Only Alan and Maximin out with hamstring injury probably. Rest of the things are pretty sorted. Kraft has long-term injury, so Maximin and Kraft, all the members are available. So from Newcastle perspective, from team-wise, we have a lot of options to start. We have a lot of bench options. So I see a pretty confident team from Newcastle.
So Hotspur Ribhu, can you preview with respect to Tottenham?
Well, yes, even I'm excited to see the starting lineup. I preview there might be a change in the front three. Likewise, we used to see Son, Kane, and Kulusevski. So maybe we can see Richarlison starting in place of Son, or maybe in place of Kulusevski. Um, uh, and the back three would be pretty much unchanged because we do not have much options out there. In the midfield, I would be really excited to see if we can really start Rodrigo Bentancur because I mean we were seeing him, trading
Long
in the
injury layoff, isn't it? It's a
yeah
long
it
injury
it
layoff.
it was a really long injury, but I'm really not sure whether he can play because I don't think he is completely fit yet. But it's something we'll have to see before the match preview what our head coach Cellini says. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what kind of a starting lineup we get up, especially in the midfield area.
So why is Richarlison starting again? That is a big question because he hasn't scored a goal all season. He is probably the biggest dud in the Premier League this season. He's not scored a goal all season, and still you expect him to start when you have Danjuma who scored a goal, and you also have Kulusevski who's probably in contention for the right wing. So why do you see Richarlison starting?
Well, Richarlison, has an impact on the field, even though he doesn't score goals. Off late, we have seen a drop in form of Heung-min Son, and that's the reason I'm preferring Richarlison over Son to start in this match because it's a really crucial match. Newcastle has been playing some amazing football, and Richarlison has the skills to get few of the players get some cards or get some red cards. So I really like that shithousery, and I would like to see Richarlison playing and make those really crucial decisions or some really confusing decisions for the referee and turn the match in our favor.
Yeah. So if I may ask you, who do you think is the best player in that right wing position for Tottenham? Someone who would you
Well,
would love to see play, and someone who you would hate to see play.
I would, of course, not want Kulusevski to play because Richarlison, I see though he has an impact, but his, conversion rate for pass is pretty poor after leaving Everton. So I would really love to see Richarlison. Yes, I see I mean, I don't understand why Rebu is saying Son is out of form. He just scored the goal in the last match, I believe. And in that match, Son was good. I won't say that he was like his former self, but I believe he played pretty well with comparing his rest of the season this year. So I think it's good. Naturally, Son is, probably gonna better, and lethal Kane is always there. I mean, Kane is a person who can score any position from penalty box. So left and middle, I believe there is not much change. Son and Kane, but right wing, I would hate to play against Kulusevski because Dan Burn recently. I see the form is dipping for Dan Burn, and from that position, Kulusevski a little threat for us, of course.
Okay, so iToonMag, if we take you back to the game against Aston Villa, and what we saw is that the the Newcastle midfield strangely struggled a lot. Okay, and also the defense weren't able to keep out shots. We've seen the momentum changing for Arsenal, right? With their result against Liverpool, the momentum has totally changed. Do you see the same happening for Newcastle, or do you think
Hi
they'll be able to
guys.
bounce back?
Um, it's difficult to say because I see for last three matches, specifically first half, Newcastle is playing pretty poor. Uh, it's not happening anything from us from first half perspective. We have seen against West Ham. We have seen against I know I don't remember who's played. We played before uh, Aston Villa, whatever. So three match consecutive we see. I mean we've been playing pretty poor in first half, and the last match specifically we missed seeing Longstaff a great deal because he's the person who gives privilege to Bruno and Joelinton or Willock to go move forward. But since Willock played instead of this guy
Stream
Longstaff,
long stuff.
so
Yeah.
what Bruno has to do, Bruno has to play a typical central defensive midfielder role, which he's not very much comfortable of. He is a kind of player who play box to box, not just hold up in defense line, do the passing. That sort of thing we missed against Aston Villa, and that cost us that pretty horrible defeat 3-0. We couldn't even imagine. I mean, it's outside of Big Six. This is the team which beat us this season. I mean, we are pretty shocked to see.
Yeah. So we also have the Jishmaester with us. Jishmaester, glad to
Hey.
have you in the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So,
So go
so
ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. So your take on the Newcastle situation? What do you think? I mean, Newcastle got humbled by Aston Villa last week, and we've seen the momentum swing in case of Arsenal. Okay, so once Arsenal, you know, they succumbed to a 2-2 draw against Liverpool, and slowly the momentum has changed. Do you see the same happening for Newcastle? Do you see them dropping points?
Well, not really. I would probably say the Villa game was an anomaly just because, as he mentioned, Sean Longstaff, he was on the bench, right, for that game, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, I'm
Yes,
not
he
sure
was.
why. Was he injured or something?
We are not pretty much sure. We expected Sin Longstaff to be because there was a midweek match we had, so probably that reason is a fatigue or something. But
Hmm.
it
Probably.
cost us.
Yeah, I mean, without Sean Longstaff, they do not have a designated central defensive midfielder. Neither Joe Willock nor Joelinton or Bruno Guimaraes is a CDM, per se. And so I believe that's an anomaly just because one this team to be, I would probably say, the best team in the league right now. I know people are going to say Manchester City, but they've conceded the least number of goals since the turn of the new year. They have the most number of clean sheets as opposed to any other team when you look at Aston Villa since Unai Emery's appointment. They've also won more games in the last 9 games or something. They're the most points in the last 9 games. That's not a fluke. That's not a fluke. We already discussed in our previous video that Unai Emery is definitely really, really good at his job. But Newcastle United before this game, they beat a difficult Brentford away. They also beat another team. Who was it? Manchester United, right? They beat Manchester United as well. So I think they've turned their corner. I think their dip in form is kind of gone just because they are a very strong team, and against Tottenham, especially at St James's Park, I don't see Tottenham winning this game. And that kind of takes me to a question that I actually have for Ribhu, Hotspur Ribhu here. That I personally, as an outsider, as um, as a non-Tottenham fan, I haven't seen much changes. In fact, there's practically no changes between the playing style of the Tottenham under Antonio Conte and the new manager. What's his name? Belotti or something?
It's Christian Stellini.
Christian Stellini. Sorry, yes.
Stellini.
Stellini,
Stellini.
yes. Stellini. So can you tell me what's going on? I mean, shouldn't there be a change of style of play, or why are we still looking at a similar team?
I mean, I can say that I'm in the same position as you are because I expected a different brand of gameplay. We have seen frustrations across the bench as well. We have seen frustrations across Ryan Mitchell's face, especially when we have seen players drop back after scoring one goal. I mean, this is something which has got to be the mentality of the players. I also believe because even in the press conferences we have seen Stellini mentioning again and again that this is something which has not been told to the players. Rather, it's the players that they are themselves going and dropping back after losing possession, rather than going and counter pressing. So this is something which has to say which has to has to change between the change in the mindset of the players, because you cannot go and directly say the players that please go and press. I mean, you can obviously create tactics which will be a more counter possessive or a counter pressing tactic, rather just going and dropping back and playing a park the bus defensive style of football. It's the players who has that fear in their mind that okay, I have scored a goal, I shouldn't concede another goal. So
Hmm.
this kind of a mentality should come up, should be given up by the players themselves. It's
Right.
it's it's a responsibility
You
of the
know, my
players
take on
more
this,
than the
my take
manager.
on this, my take on this situation is that I believe that Tottenham are not, they are not really contesting for the top four. They are not serious about getting into the top four. So I think they are very much underwhelmed with how the season has gone, and certainly Conte living in the middle has left a bad taste in everyone. So and I think there's a lot more going on inside the club that than we may know about. Okay,
Mhm.
so at this point of time, I just don't think players are focused enough, except maybe some players like Harry Kane, uh, who's probably going for some individual glory. He wants a club next season, probably. I don't know. Or and Hyun Min Song, who's had a poor season and he has a point to prove. But I don't really think the players are together in this. They are not fighting for the top four for sure.
You mentioned Harry Kane, Bong Scouser. I want to ask Hotspur Ribhu. I saw a news article yesterday that he is heavily linked to join Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, in the coming summer. He is going to be the number one target. Um, what do you have to say about that?
I would say it's a complete jargon because I don't see Harry Kane going for a French league or a Farmers League, or all of a sudden, because Harry Kane deserves much more. There would be better clubs or better offers if he waits for that.
But he's at
Frankly,
a
I
farmer
would.
club.
But if you go to PSG, you're almost nailed on to win a trophy, which Harry Kane
Yeah.
has never won.
In terms of trophies, he's at a farmer club. Maybe not the farmer league, but he's at a farmer club.
I would love to see him celebrating the League One. I'd watch. I'd turn on my channel just to see him celebrate that League One. Because that's never
Well,
happened. It's
well,
so unfortunate.
well. I have been seeing. Maybe I haven't seen Harry Kane personally, but I have seen his mentality over the years. He is not that kind of a guy who would just go for the sake of winning trophies. I mean, he's a guy who would really maintain the pedigree, because if you have seen his interview with Jose Mourinho, where he mentioned that he would be the likes of the next Ronaldo or the next Messi. So to become the next Ronaldo or the next Messi, you cannot really go to PSG and
Surely
prove
it's
yourself.
past him now, right? He's 30. He surely does not have those ambitions today, right?
He's
So
not
it's
30,
it,
he's
it
28 right now. So
he's
he is,
28. Oh my God, he looks
yeah, so
40.
he
Yeah.
that may be another discussion. But yeah, he's 28, turning 29 maybe next year, or maybe this year. I really
Okay.
don't know his birthday, but yeah. What I can say is that he really still has that blood in him, or he still really has that fuel in him to become the next big thing. I mean, he's already a next big thing in the Premier League. Surpassed multiple records. So if he stays at Premier League, he can definitely beat the Alan Shearer's record. And I definitely see him. If I personally want Harry Kane to go, I would love to see him in another Premier League club, or maybe in a
Like
club like Real
Newcastle
Madrid.
United.
Oh
Like
my
Newcastle
God.
United.
Never, never. That can never be possible.
Oh my God. Okay.
Newcastle
Okay.
United
So
has a bigger
that's a
chance of.
strange take. That's a strange take from Hotspur Ribhu. Had it been me, I would never have been able to see him going to another club. It would have hurt me like anything.
This is the
Anyhow,
understanding.
so anyhow, we'll come to the next question. So I'll start with the Jishmaester. So we have a number of contenders this season for the top position. I feel that the top three positions are already sealed. So, so who do you think is the most likely to end up in fourth position?
It's pretty simple. Newcastle United, and they're pretty nailed on to be, finishing the top four, in my opinion. The only outside chances that the other teams have is between Liverpool, Brighton, and Aston Villa and Tottenham, right? Um, the kind of woeful football Tottenham is playing, there's no chance. There's absolutely no
No,
chance.
but
And this is
are you
go ahead.
aware that if Newcastle drop points, I mean, if Newcastle drop points,
When
I
tomorrow?
mean, like
Well, this
And Brighton win those two games that they have in hand.
mhm.
Okay, it could get very close. It will
Brighton
be
Brighton
a
has
difference of a
extremely
point.
difficult fixtures. They still have to play Manchester City at home, and they have to go away to Arsenal. So I don't see
Okay.
how they're going to not draw points. I mean, there's no way. Brighton's
I
fixtures are
can see, I can see Brighton winning against Arsenal, frankly speaking, because
no.
Arsenal are in a.
That's at the Emirates.
Interesting, interesting.
That's at the Emirates.
iToon Mag, I would like to come to iToon Mag now. So iToon Mag, what's your take on this? Who is the most serious contender now in that top four? I mean, I do understand, like I said before in the show, that Tottenham and Newcastle are the favorites to end up in that first position. But if you have to
No,
put
they're
someone
they're
else,
not. They're not. Sorry. Before iToonMag speaks, Tottenham is absolutely bottom of the barrel in that entire conversation. Newcastle is number one. You can take
no.
Aston Villa to be number two, number three to be Liverpool, number four to be Brighton, number five to be Tottenham in that conversation. How is
Okay,
Tottenham?
okay. I know mathematically, if Newcastle lose this game, then Tottenham are mathematically, still in it.
That's not happening.
Somehow, by
This
by
weekend,
chance.
Newcastle is
But
not getting beaten by Tottenham Hotspurs. Take it from me.
okay,
Done.
Well,
okay. So Iron Mag,
we
what's
might.
your take? What's your take?
I don't want to predict that match of. I mean, what's going to be a top four
No, we
right
are not
now
talking about
because
match prediction here. We are not talking about match prediction here. If there's anyone who can take your place, which team would it be?
I believe Aston Villa because they are playing really slick football. I mean, incoming this guy Emery just transformed the team so well. I
Yeah,
mean, they couldn't. I mean, we couldn't stand a chance against Aston Villa. We are pretty
yeah.
hopeless. I mean,
Completely
I,
dominated.
I,
Yeah,
I saw Newcastle playing this much of defensive football, this much of bad football. I haven't seen this season, and we are
yeah,
just playing like a relegation fighting team. I mean, I wouldn't
yeah.
see a fourth, third position team playing against a sixth position team. It was like a sixth position team playing against a 19th position team. That's how they made
Yeah.
us play. I mean, in every department they outplayed us. I mean, it's credit where it's due. I have to say,
But
if
don't you
not
think the
Newcastle,
gap
it
is too
should.
much? But
I
don't you think
still,
the gap is
I,
too
I
much? And
still
surely they're going to have a bad game. They've won so many games in a row. Surely there's a bad game waiting somewhere.
considering the way entire season unpredictable play from Tottenham Hotspur, I don't see much of a chance to play them in top four. They have Kane, they have Son, they have Kulusevski, even Bentancur, even Højbjerg. Højbjerg can score a goal even. But I see there's something lacking of that X factor is lacking in Tottenham Hotspur this season. The way they are playing, it's something like they have lost their motivation. They just wanted to finish a
Yeah,
top
yeah.
five, six. That should be enough for them.
They're
But
playing
if
the kind of football which you kind
They
of
just
call.
want to. They just
Uh,
want the season to end. That's it.
there's a
They're not
word for
serious.
it. There's a word for it. Wait, let me tell you. Spursy. That's what they're playing football like. They're Spursy.
Okay.
Well, the last two
Uh,
matches for Arsenal can still be described the same.
We still didn't
I mean,
lose. We still did not lose. We didn't
it
lose to a
doesn't
lowly
matter.
Bournemouth.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Losing out that Premier League title is it's mind blowing. It's mind
I
blowing.
really can't hear you from
That's
the
the
top of the league.
best.
I really can't hear you from the top of the
It
league.
doesn't matter. Once you become second, I guess that would be the best position or the best feeling for us
okay,
Spurs
Hotstar
fans.
Ribhu, Hotstar Ribhu. Let's come back to the conversation. Uh, so who do you think uh are the real contenders for that fourth spot apart from Newcastle and Tottenham? Do you think that there is anyone else who stands a chance?
Well, I would personally say Brighton because they are really playing some amazing football. I mean, Brighton is a team who really dominates the gameplay more than Aston Villa, I would say. And Brighton has a coach and has a philosophy from the start of the season. So they
Yeah,
have a real chance and a better mentality than Aston Villa, I would say. So I really dread Brighton at some times because the way they play. I know we have
yeah,
beaten Brighton, recently, but I still believe they have that charisma, they have that mentality to go ahead and achieve big things. And as I said, I mean, I really see Brighton winning against Arsenal because the way they are playing and the way they read every game. I mean that's mind blowing. So
yeah.
I can really find Brighton to be a real contender at the end of the season for top four. And speaking of Aston Villa, I really admired the way they played against Newcastle. So the only job for Tottenham would be to really read that Aston Villa game and just find out the weak points of Newcastle United and implement the same tactics against Newcastle in this Sanders game. So that's what I can say. And we
Well,
do really have that firepower.
that's I mean that's I can say that's not gonna happen. The way Aston Villa chased us, that
Exactly.
that
The
that kind
pressing.
of gameplay Spurs never played. That
Yeah,
kind of chasing
they
gameplay,
don't press like that.
yes.
You never know, you never know because it's as every one of us are saying, and we all agree that the gameplay of Spurs has really been in real highs as well as in real lows. So we never know how we are going to play against Newcastle. The way we played against Brighton was amazing. With the way we played against Chelsea was amazing. But again, the way we played against the Newcastle game previously was really my pathetic to watch because going 2 goals up like winning 3-1 from there we drew 3-3. So it was really painful to watch, frankly speaking. So it's all about the mentality of the players. It's all about how we finish off the game. Maybe we will start off real good, but the ultimate thing lies in how we finish the game. So that's the will be the crucial factor of the game, I would say.
Okay, I'll quickly like to end the show here with the predictions. Jishmaester, can we have your prediction for the game?
2-0.
2-0 for Newcastle?
I don't need to say. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, okay. iToonMag, over to you.
It's 3-1 for Newcastle.
3-1 for Newcastle. Okay. Uh, Hotspur Ribhu, what about you?
Yeah, I won't give unrealistic opinions, but I'll just go with a 1-0 win for Spurs.
Okay.
Interesting, interesting. And for me, I predict a draw this game. It's going to be a boring game, and I think it's going to be a 0-0 for me.
Okay.
So, so on that note, I'd like to end the show here. Thank you, Jishmaster, for coming. I know you had a very hard schedule today.
No,
Thank
no,
you,
not at all.
iToonMag and Hotspur Ribhu. It's always great to have you guys on the show. Thanks a lot to everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Do like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And let's just keep growing. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye bye.